All right, y'all. Welcome back. Tough loss, obviously. There's a lot of things that I'm thinking, just like off the top of my head, that I don't think the Tennessee did a good job of. It always starts with the coaching, and it's hard to speak on coaching. It's hard to speak on a lot of this stuff before actually watching the film, which I'm going to stay up all night watching the film and trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. So this is just immediately after the game from watching it live, what our thoughts are. P, do you want to
Yeah,
start?
it's going to be a tough film to go back and watch because I think we're going to see a lot of self-inflicted wounds, a lot of things that we did to ourselves. I mean, we just did not play a good game at all. I mean, how many drops do we have?
A lot.
Giving up 4 sacks to a D-line that hasn't really been very disruptive this year. I mean, we just did not play our brand of ball, and that's something I didn't expect to see was us lose the line of scrimmage, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And I thought we'd get more pressure on Ty. We didn't get any pressure on him. I mean, I don't know. Did we get we
One
get a sack?
sack.
We got 1 sack.
But I think that was on the one that
The
he kind
tip,
of like fumbled
yeah.
or
Which
whatever.
really wasn't even. I mean, that was his own team that really hit him.
But I
we did
also,
create pressure there.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I want to give Joshua Josephs credit for that, just
Mm-hmm.
because obviously he was able to push the quarterback back into, or he was able to push the tackle back into the quarterback.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think overall, I mean, you look at some of the miscues and mistakes. I mean, you get a safety, and we talk about the refs. Refs had a lot of bad calls. We're not gonna blame on the refs, but you look at that safety is almost a direct reflection because I think the play before, I can't remember what the call was. I think maybe that was the offsides call or the false start they called on us, something. But that backed us up right there, 5 yards close to the goal line. If that doesn't happen, it's probably not safety there. I think you take those 2 points off the board, and then obviously the pick 6 before half. I mean, gosh, dog.
That was a terrible call.
I mean, that's 9 points. If you say we should have scored, I mean, that's like a 16-point swing in the game, in my opinion. You talk about the safety, the pick 6, and then us not scoring there. So you look at that. I think we held them 28 points offensively. I think our defense. It was frustrating kind of watching it, but I think that we held our own for the most part. Ty Simpson, I think, went 19 to 29, which is, I'm pretty sure, below his season average as far as completion percentage. So, I mean, I think we did some decent things defensively, especially considering the pass rush wasn't really there. They couldn't run the ball, okay? I mean, I know the numbers will show, Jeremy Bernard, whatever his name is, he had a big run on a freaking backwards pass or something like that, and the other guy, number 2, he had a nice little run, whatever. But they couldn't run the ball, and we knew that, and I think that made it easier for us just to sell out for the pass. But overall, man, just a sloppy game by us, and we still were in it, and we just kept shooting ourselves in the foot. Couldn't get our own way.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say it this way. I didn't love some of the things that we did starting the game off on offense or defense. I don't.
Yeah.
And we talked about this all week long. Like, there's no need to come up and play press man coverage. You have to do it sometimes, but you start the game off, and you're going to give up some stuff. But their wide receiver core, it's too many of them. They're too good. You can't play press man. You're just giving them so much stuff over the top. And by the time that because it does feel like, Peter, we kind of switched that up some. Of course, we still in certain situations, third and shorts, we were going back to the press man coverage. But you have to do what you know works. And again, I got to go back and watch the film, but it didn't feel like we started off that way on defense necessarily. I don't know how many blitzes Tennessee dialed up, but I don't feel like we dialed that up enough, because once we see that the pressure's not getting there, you got to start to dial up blitzes. Like, you've got to get to the quarterback. If you go back to last season versus Georgia versus the Buckeyes, 0 sacks. In this game, we did get a sack, but it really wasn't like we didn't really. I'm not gonna say that we didn't earn it, but it wasn't to me. That's not like a real sack. You have to dial up blitzes. So there's definitely that. And then also, I think that, like, for the offense, a lot of sloppy stuff with the pre-snap penalties, with the snapping the football when people aren't ready. And then, too, just, like, not sticking to the run game early on. Yeah. Like, for what? Like, yeah, of course they're going to sell out to try to stop the run. They might stop some of them, but don't stop running the football when we know that we can run it on them. Everybody else is running on them, and then we started to get into a groove, and we looked good doing it. We just didn't run it enough. Only 34 carries, P. I said I feel like Tennessee will probably try to I thought that it was going to be 41 or 44 carries, something like that. That average, that's going to be skewed. So, like, whenever I put out averages, I'm thinking, like, net average, not with the sacks and all that. I think that we'll probably be pretty close to over 6 yards per carry if you take out all the sacks. And Alabama, since we only had 1 sack, they're going to be pretty close to that. But also with the missed tackles, I mean, it is just at a point right now that it is pathetic. Yeah. There is absolutely no excuse because it's something that you learn as soon as you start playing football. Whenever you tackle, you have to wrap up. Too much just trying to hit folks and not wrapping up. Just like a lot of basic fundamental stuff that would have put us in a much better spot. We came out in the second half. Obviously, P, you talked about that pick six. Let me speak on that call because that was a terrible call. If everyone knows that you have to throw it there, so don't go to a bunched up running formation with no real pass catching threats and try to fake a run and then pass it. P, you said it perfectly live. Like, we would have been better off just running the football there and just live with the consequences. Because at least then we're not giving them 6 points on top of it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what you called it, like a 16-point swing or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
16-point swing. I mean, and even if you assume we don't score there, if you take that pick six to end the half, which shouldn't have happened, and that safety off the board, I mean, it's a one-score game. They have 28 points. And, like, we played awful. And it's still, I mean, like, we still should have been there. We talked about that drive. What was it? Coming right out of the half, we get the 3 and out we needed, coming out of the halftime. And then, we're moving the ball, I feel like, and then we just implode. I mean, Joey Aguilar was doing some crazy things with some, quick screen throws, just some bad passes. We get a false start, and then we get 3rd and 19. It hits Mike Matthews in the hands, right in the hands. We're actually about to convert a 20-yard 3rd down, and he drops it. We end up having to punt and get nothing out of that drive. Actually, I think that was that the 3 and out, or maybe that was after a turnover we got? It was something.
Oh, no.
It was something, and we should have put points. So, I mean, we just left a lot of points off the board.
A lot.
Today.
And then, too, just like looking at this, Tennessee had more first downs than Alabama. The 3rd down stuff doesn't look as good. 4th down, we had to go for it 5 times. I think that you just talked about it on that last play where it looked like we probably scored. That's the only one that we didn't get. Total yards, we had more. Passing yards, we had more, obviously. If you come on down, look at the rushing, we had more yards there. And we're going to take a look at this tomorrow with, like, the actual net stuff. We had more there, too. This is a game that we shot ourselves in the foot. And I know that there were several people who brought it up that Tennessee, we have a tendency not to play as well on the road. I think that you could say that for any team. But we had to find a way to get over that hump. Yeah. And I just feel like we coached tight in certain situations. And we have to do better than that. But it's got to start with the basic fundamentals. The offensive line didn't play. I'm not going to say that they played horrible, but all the mixing and matching and moving people around, it didn't work out very well. We talked about 42. We said, hey, he's out of the 5 guys that we highlighted, he was the one that we said, hey, he's got some twitch to him. He had 3 sacks today. So, we've just got to do better. Playing up against good teams, especially on the road, it's going to be challenging. They're good, so they're going to make plays sometimes. But we just didn't counter it with enough. And it was just like a lot of timely, costly things that put Tennessee out of this game. Yeah. And I just think that if we could, obviously this is never going to happen, but, if we could go back and play this game over again with the correct game plan, just again from watching it live, I think that we would be in a much better situation than how things ended. I don't think that Alabama's 17 points better than us, honestly speaking. Now, I'm not just saying that, but again, y'all saw the stats. The game felt like it's about winning up front. We're not getting sacks. We did a good job, I think, versus the run and also running the football. But in the passing game wasn't as good. We started to figure some things out with the coverage. But, man, guys got to be able to get off blocks. And, yes, they were holding us several times. Doesn't matter. And we talked about that, too, over the course of the week. None of that stuff really matters. In games like this, you just got to go find ways to win. We haven't gotten there yet. I still have confidence that, Tennessee can get there. But, I mean, that's pretty much all that I have to say. And then, too, I think that there was some flashes, Pete, with some of the younger players that did look good playing. You know what I'm saying? That came out there, did some nice things. But really, like, at the end of the day, can we get some of the guys that, just from watching it live, I feel like personally, this is just me talking, I feel like can't really play well. They're not playing well enough. Can we get some of the other guys in there more? Yeah. And, hey, guys will hit the portal. Okay. See ya, because we need people who can help us win. And there's just too many spots that I don't feel like we necessarily have that. But it really, if we just played with better fundamentals, this would have been a much closer game.
For sure. And, I want to shout out to Sean Bishop, too. I mean, he ran
Great
the ball.
Game.
He ran the ball phenomenal today. I mean, he was really a spark that lifted us. I think he really, I know people have been kind of saying the past week or so, but today I think he really solidified himself as our number 1 guy. Like, he's the guy. You need some yards, he better be in the freaking game. So shout out to him, man. He had a really good game today. Played hurt too, but kept on coming back for more. But I mean, just kind of like you said, man, you look at this game, they're not 37 points better. I think this is a game, to me, I mean, look at our loss to them and our loss to Georgia. Like, they're still not a team yet that I feel like we can't beat. Like, we can beat this team that we just played tonight. You know, it was in their stadium. We had some calls go against us. We shot ourselves in the foot a ton. But I mean, I think like once we figured something out, I think coming out of the half, as far as stopping the pass, Ty was not as efficient in the second half. I think we figured some things out. And if we should have realized early, hey, they cannot run up the middle. They started hitting us kind of later in the game, hitting outside. We were calling it on TV, like they're about to hit outside. So we gotta be more aware of that stuff as players and as coaches, getting in the guy's mic, or whatever, and saying, hey, listen, they're gonna go outside, so we can communicate that to defense. But I'm with you. If we are fortunate enough to see these guys again, maybe in the conference championship playoffs, I think it'll be a different ball game for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be tough with those 2 L's because I don't see anybody else on their. I don't know exactly what their schedule is. I'm thinking about LSU. I don't know who else they have, but I mean, I don't see them probably losing any more games necessarily. Just like unless they have just like a terrible game. But I did also want to highlight this because Bishop had 14 carries, 8.8 yards per carry. Again, that's just the ESPN stats. And then Star Thomas, he was right there with them. So we were running the football well. And then, you know, whenever you look at some of the stuff here with the sacks and all that, that's going to skew.
And even Peyton Lewis, that was there towards the end of the game. He got like 3 or 4 carries right there inside the 5.
Messed it up.
You know what I'm saying? So
messed it up. Yeah. But I mean, there's obviously several steps that this team still needs to take. I'm not, you know, I had us preseason going 10-2. We still got Oklahoma. That one's going to be. I mean, we still got several tough games left. You know, the team that we're playing next week just went to overtime versus Texas. So maybe they got a little bit of a pulse, or I don't know. I feel like we'll be able to beat them, but I feel like this was a game that Tennessee could also win. But it's just like we're not coaching. So like the things that we see whenever we're breaking down film that we feel like, hey, these are the weaknesses. If we do this, then we'll be fine. It's not always what the coaches see. But it did to me, Pete, feel like, especially with the defense, that they started off trying to do that press man stuff that everyone's always wanting us to do. It doesn't work. You know, it's tough to do because playing in the secondary, playing defense period, you're in a losing situation. But especially in the secondary, especially even more so playing press man-to-man coverage because you're on the road. We already know the referees were going to be cheating. So you have to be physical with them to stop any pass. There's just no way in the world. Deion couldn't even do it. Deion was very physical, which is why he was who he, you know what I'm saying? Like he was who he was is based off of that. His press was crazy. But you can't do it the same way these days. So playing that press man-to-man coverage, it's very tough. And either they're going to throw a flag on you, or if you're not getting pressure, it's going in the offense's favor. Yeah. And so like when we're doing that, it wasn't enough pressure, which is why I was saying I would like for us to just run the quarters. We saw Florida State do it. They had a lot of success. Now you can show that press and then bail out. And I don't want to stand on this too long, but I just feel like there are some things. And it's a lot easier doing it, coaching from the couch and all that. But there are some things that I feel like Tennessee could have done better from a scheme standpoint, not just on defense, because everyone's going to talk about the defense, but on offense too. I don't think that Joey Aguilar had his best game. Trying to run and shit, dog, you got to get down. This is the SEC. You can't be like, you ain't running through these dudes. Those are grown men. And like those are real dogs. And I mean, look, I love Joey, but you ain't built like that, bro. Like what he's 6'2", and again, that's not a shot at him. It's just like literally physically 6'2", 225. You're not bringing a whole lot of speed behind it. It's just like the laws of physics say that you're probably not going to be winning that battle. You know, like I just think, and this is me talking, I think that the guys that can do more of that, where you're trying to run through folks, they're pretty big and pretty fast, and then they can get away with it. But and I don't think he was very accurate with his passes all the time. I think that he got flustered after his back got hurt. Wasn't very good. But like you said, P, and like I also said, it was way too many drops. I think we had 6 drops or something in this game. Yeah,
I mean 28 completions. That number, 28 completions probably should have been at least like 35.
Yeah, terrible.
Just if we take the drops out of there. So
terrible. Yeah, but so I mean that's pretty much it, man. I really don't have too many. I really don't have too many more thoughts, honestly, P. I want to go in and watch the film and see exactly what's what, because I don't want to speak too much out of turn. But we did want to come in here and just give like our fresh thoughts after this game. Wasn't good, obviously, and Tennessee has to be better. I think that we can be better, but it's got to start with the fundamentals. P, what's your final thoughts?
Final thought is, I mean, we absolutely beat ourselves in this one, and I mean, when we watch the film, it's going to be so frustrating watching that film, just because all the self-inflicted wounds, and then you're going to have guys I'm talking about talking about how good Bama is or how bad Tennessee is. We absolutely beat ourselves. Now, I'm not saying Bama's not a good team. Okay, I mean they're a good team. They're gonna be a tough team to knock off. But it just sucks whenever you go out there and you do it to yourself. And even I kept saying throughout the game. I mean, even as bad as we're playing, you take that safety off. Even just taking that safety off makes a different game. But you take those 9 points off, it's a different game down the stretch, and it changes the way that game is played down the stretch. We're still in it with a chance to take the lead to at least tie it up. So we just got to be better, man. We just got to be more disciplined and execute on the fundamentals.
Yep. So with all that being said, y'all, I will be talking to y'all for sure at some point tomorrow. Going to be spending all night just going through this. It's very just like it's going to be hard for me to even sleep. So I will having like even more thorough probably breakdown than what I typically do. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. I know that this sucks, but I don't think that the season is over with. We did lose two. We have lost 2 games up to this point, but doesn't necessarily mean that we're totally out of things. We still have a lot to play for, and we just got to get better. So with all that being said, y'all please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be talking to y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace.